You manage your finances wisely, avoiding obvious splurges and making responsible choices daily. Yet, despite your best efforts, your bank balance seems to dwindle without a clear explanation. What if I told you the real culprits behind your disappearing funds aren't the big, noticeable expenses? It's often something far more subtle. We're not talking about rash purchases or poor investments here. Instead, it's those seemingly innocent, everyday routines you've adopted without a second thought. Their danger lies not in their individual cost, but in their absolute invisibility. They're so ingrained, you overlook them entirely. These hidden drains seamlessly blend into your daily life, often masked as convenience, generosity, or even sensible choices. Month after month, they silently siphon funds from your account, never setting off any financial warning bells. Today, I'll reveal 10 such common habits that are secretly costing you a fortune. While some will resonate instantly, others might make you uneasy, as you've likely justified them for years. Let's dive in. The first habit is mindlessly paying for convenience, starting with those ubiquitous delivery fees. Consider ordering a $15 meal via an app. By the time all fees, delivery, service, small order, and tip are tallied, your total skyrockets to $25 or even $30. This nearly doubles the original cost, yet it feels less like a financial choice and more like just another Tuesday night. Do this 3 times weekly, and you're spending $30 to $45 just on fees. Annually, that adds up to a staggering $1,500 to $2,300, all for charges that don't provide any additional food whatsoever. This extends beyond food delivery. Think express shipping to save 2 days or a quick rideshare instead of a short walk. It's also paying more at the corner shop to avoid a 5-minute drive to the supermarket. The core issue is that these don't register as financial choices. This entire economy of convenience thrives because we rarely bother to calculate these small, seemingly insignificant expenses. You won't notice these funds disappearing because they drain away in countless small increments, not one large sum. Our second habit, maintaining subscriptions just in case. Many of us are guilty of this, subscribing to a streaming service just for a single show. Once it's over, you continue paying monthly. You might only open the app every 6 weeks, scroll for a few minutes, then decide there's nothing to watch and go to bed, still paying for it. The hesitation to cancel stems from the thought, what if a great new series drops next month? Or needing the service again later. So you maintain the subscription just in case. This isn't limited to streaming. It applies to various other services. Think of the fitness app used for a couple of weeks, the temporary cloud storage upgrade, or the music tier boosted for one road trip. Individually, these small monthly charges of $5, $10, or $15 seem trivial and easily overlooked. However, checking your bank statement often reveals a shocking total, as most people significantly underestimate this spending. Research indicates that individuals typically misjudge their monthly subscription costs by over $100, money automatically leaving their accounts. This money exits your account automatically for services you hardly use, a system intentionally designed to operate this way. The strategy becomes even more cunning when you finally decide to cancel one of these services. Upon hitting the cancellation button, you're often presented with an enticing offer like, how about 3 months for the price of 1? Or you might hear, we'd be sad to see you leave. Here's 70% off your next 3 months. This often persuades people to stay. These deals are effective because they feel too good to decline, causing you to remain subscribed, not out of necessity, but due to the perceived wastefulness of leaving. The harsh reality is, if a service needs to bribe you to retain your business, you likely didn't require it in the first place. Our third habit is purchasing items on sale that we don't actually need. This often feels like a clever decision rather than a wasteful one. This habit often feels intelligent, not harmful, giving a sense of smart decision-making that can be quite deceptive. Imagine walking into a store or browsing online and spotting an item reduced from $100 to $60. Your brain quickly calculates a $40 saving, which instinctively delivers a satisfying sense of victory. Yet your mind failed to account for one crucial fact. You had no prior intention of buying that item. You weren't seeking it, didn't need it yesterday, and wouldn't have considered it tomorrow. Its appeal purely stemmed from that red discount label. Therefore, you didn't actually save $40. Instead, you simply spent $60 that you otherwise wouldn't have. Retailers are well aware of this, frequently inflating original prices to make subsequent discounted offers seem especially appealing. This creates a manufactured comparison, designed specifically to trigger the thrill and urgency of finding a bargain. Research confirms that discounts fundamentally alter consumer purchasing psychology, shifting focus from genuine need to deal value. Instead of asking, do I genuinely want this? You begin to ask, is this item worth it at this reduced price? These are two distinct inquiries, yet your brain often conflates them, leading to impulsive decisions. This explains why people often return from sales with bags full of purchases they never intended to make, mistakenly believing they've saved money. In truth, the sale didn't save you anything. It merely recruited you, making you spend while feeling astute about it. The solution isn't to avoid sales entirely, but to ask yourself a key question before any purchase. Would I purchase this at its full, undiscounted price? If the answer is no, you're not genuinely interested in the product itself, but rather the fleeting satisfaction of a deal, a feeling with an unacknowledged cost. This pattern of oversight isn't limited to groceries. It extends to countless other areas of your financial life. Consider when you last compared quotes for your car insurance, or reviewed your phone and internet plans for better deals. Many individuals simply set these services up once, and then continue paying the monthly charges for years without re-evaluation. However, even small sums add up. $20 extra on insurance, $15 on an outdated phone plan, or $10 in avoidable bank fees. These seemingly minor amounts accumulate to an astonishing $540 annually, simply from not checking your options once. The issue isn't typically carelessness with major purchases, as most people scrutinize large price tags carefully. Instead, the real problem is our complete neglect of smaller expenses, perceiving each as insignificant. Yet, your money makes no distinction whether it's lost through one large decision or hundreds of tiny ones. It's gone regardless. Now let's address the fifth common mistake: letting your money stagnate in a conventional savings account. This one might feel like a personal critique, as it's often viewed as a responsible action, saving money and watching it grow. But this very sense of security is precisely what makes it so perilous despite your good intentions. While your account balance appears to rise, inflation, often ranging from 3% to 7%, is silently eroding your purchasing power. Your typical savings account interest, usually between 0.5% and 2%, simply cannot keep pace with this economic reality. This means your money is actually diminishing in real value year after year, a slow loss disguised by a growing number on paper. Moving on to the sixth habit: lending money to others and never following up to get it back, often out of kindness. This behavior, lending money without expecting repayment, hardly seems like a financial habit. It feels more like an act of kindness. Yet it's precisely this perception of being a good person that earns it a place among these detrimental financial patterns. Consider simple situations. Your friend forgets their wallet, so you step in to cover the cost of lunch. Or perhaps a cousin urgently needs $30 for something, and you immediately transfer the funds. Even at a group dinner, it often seems easier to just split the bill evenly, despite your meal costing far less than others. In these instances, you pay your portion, say nothing to avoid awkwardness, and simply move on. Each of these individual moments appears minor, feels genuinely generous, yet represents money you will ultimately never recover. This isn't due to malicious intent. Rather, small debts often become socially invisible, overlooked by everyone involved. No one bothers to track these minor transactions, and asking a friend for $15 back feels worse than just accepting the loss. Consequently, you repeatedly absorb these small financial hits time and time again. The true issue isn't any single occurrence, but the developing pattern of always being the one who covers or rounds up. When you consistently say, "Don't worry about it," you inadvertently become the person expected to always take care of it. This transforms generosity into a defined role, a position that ultimately costs you hundreds of dollars annually. There's also a deeper psychological aspect. Most people avoid asking for their money back because they fear being perceived as cheap. They'd rather lose the money than face social discomfort, meaning the real cost isn't just the $20, but your discomfort with confrontation. Initially, you might treat yourself to something you've desired, or an online purchase, as a small earned reward after working hard. However, the real problem emerges when that occasional Friday dinner, or a single nice treat after a tough week, transforms into a rigid, weekly ritual. This treat ceases to be special. It becomes a regular budget item, yet it retains its emotional tag as a reward, preventing it from being scrutinized like other expenses. Behavioral economists term this hedonic adaptation, where the initial thrill of a self-indulgence quickly diminishes as your brain rapidly adjusts. To achieve the same feeling again, you find yourself spending more or indulging more frequently, framing it as self-care rather than recognizing it as increased expenditure. This self-care label serves as a powerful shield for the habit, cloaking itself in terms of mental well-being and self-worth, making it incredibly difficult to challenge. However, there's a significant distinction between a genuine act of treating yourself and unconsciously developing a spending pattern you never intended. The real question isn't if you deserve nice things. You absolutely do. But whether this is a conscious choice or an automatic habit disguised as self-care to avoid checking the cost. Moving on to point number 8, eating lunch out every workday. This stands out as one of the priciest habits, persisting simply because it doesn't register as a financial choice. Instead, it feels like a basic need. You're hungry, so you get food, and the thought process ends there. Yet, if we crunch the numbers, a typical bought lunch, averaging $12, amounts to $60 weekly, $240 monthly, and roughly $3,000 annually. In contrast, preparing food at home, even at $5 a day, costs $25 weekly instead of $60, resulting in an annual saving of $1,800 from just one meal. This habit's persistence stems not merely from the food, but from the ritual of leaving your desk, venturing out, and making a choice. It offers a sense of liberation in a structured workday, and that emotional value is very real, which explains why people so fiercely defend this particular habit. However, emotional value doesn't change the financial reality. You can still take that break without spending $12, yet your brain has tightly linked the ritual with the transaction. Consistently dining out every day, without ever calculating the annual expense, isn't a conscious lifestyle choice. Instead, it's an unexamined habit operating entirely on autopilot. And it is these automatic behaviors, running without thought, where most financial drains typically occur. Our 9th financial pitfall involves upgrading perfectly functional items simply because something newer has emerged. Each year, a new phone model is released, offering minimal enhancements like a marginally faster processor or a slightly improved camera, often with features you'll barely use. Suddenly, the device in your hand, which performed perfectly fine yesterday, now feels utterly outdated, compelling you to replace it. This urge isn't driven by a broken product or a lack of necessary functionality, but merely by the existence of a newer option, which somehow feels sufficient. This trend extends far beyond phones. It encompasses laptops that still work great but are a few years old, or cars that run perfectly yet lack the latest technological features. The pattern remains constant. A perfectly working item is mentally devalued the moment a newer version is announced, leading to massive financial repercussions. Replacing a phone annually instead of every 3 or 4 years can cost thousands over a decade, while purchasing a new car every 3 years instead of running one for 8 to 10 is a significant wealth destroyer for many. This isn't about irresponsible individual purchases, but rather the sheer frequency of these upgrades. Companies spend billions specifically to cultivate this exact desire. This phenomenon is termed planned psychological obsolescence, where they're not just selling a better product, but the discomfort associated with owning an older one. This feeling is further intensified by social reinforcement. When everyone around you upgrades, keeping an older model can begin to feel like a statement of inability or falling behind the times. However, the reality is quite different. Individuals who keep their phones for 4 years, drive their cars for a decade, and use their laptops until they truly can't perform are quietly saving tens of thousands of dollars over their lifetime. They achieve this not by sacrificing quality, but by simply refusing to replace items that still fulfill their purpose, just because a newer model has appeared. Our 10th point is about paying bills late, not because you lack the funds, but because you simply forget. This is perhaps the most frustrating issue, as the money is readily available in your account, yet the payment is missed due to oversight or procrastination. Late payments significantly damage your credit score, making everything dependent on credit, from future loans to car financing, substantially more expensive. Even your insurance premiums can increase, meaning a simple oversight today could lead to inflated costs for years to come. That seemingly minor $35 late fee on an electricity bill you forgot could actually cost you hundreds or thousands in elevated rates over several years. This isn't about your ability to pay, but your failure to pay on time. The financial system doesn't care about your reasons, only the due date. This is what I term a laziness tax, and its impact compounds, forcing you to pay a premium on all borrowing and financing once your credit dips. Most individuals never connect these dots, failing to realize a higher car loan rate might trace back to just 2 forgotten utility bills months prior. The remedy is almost embarrassingly straightforward. Simply set up automatic payments for every single recurring bill you have. It takes roughly 30 minutes to configure initially, yet this setup will tirelessly protect your finances indefinitely. That half-hour investment shields you from late fees, credit damage, and the slow financial drain caused by something as easily fixed as forgetfulness. If there's one habit on this list where the gap between its simple fix and the immense damage it causes is widest, it's this one. You have the money. Just ensure it leaves on schedule. So, there they are. 10 seemingly innocent habits quietly draining your money every single month, from hidden fees and forgotten subscriptions to unneeded upgrades and late bills. The key insight is that none of these habits feel like financial blunders. They persist because they appear normal, even universally accepted. However, your money is indifferent to your feelings, only caring that it has left your account. When you tally all 10, the true cost might make you rethink your entire daily routine. You don't always need to earn more money to have more. Sometimes you simply need to stop the financial leaks, and now you know precisely where to look. If this video opened your eyes to even one costly habit, please hit that like button and subscribe to my Wealth Logic for more content that challenges your financial thinking.